El Zorro Plateador presents Myths for Today's Man. Stories, fables, and tales for a world in chaos. The Tale of Hypergometes and Redipulyseus, a myth about hypergamy and masculine frame. Part 4. The Return of Redipulyseus. Redipulyseus looked down the beach through the mist. The fog was so thick he had no idea what time it was. He heard singing and splashing. He climbed up atop a boulder on the beach and peered over it. There he saw what made the noises. It was a strange green shape, the witch nymph. Hiding out of sight, he watched her dance and splash in the waves as she sang a horrible song.
The wretched hero Redipulyseus is dead. Soon his love falls to a rocky bed. My agenda, my schemes will soon turn fast, and the silence of death is sure to last. I crave to wreck lives of girls and boys, for I am she who these youths destroys, and my natural form is one I hide, for soon she will fall from her mountainside.
Redipulyseus was amazed. "This is who set me up?" he wondered. "She is awful, a murderer." Then it came to him, a way back. He conceived a plan, something to restore his life. He carefully climbed down from the rock and wailed loudly. "Oh, woe is me! What will I do?" Vanessateria heard his wails and stopped dancing.
He has returned. Curses! How did he not die? What is he up to? My revenge was almost complete. What will this fool do now?
"Without her, how will I live?"
Oh, she is lost like an empty shell upon the sand. I will finish him.
He beat his breast and wept loudly and conspicuously. He dropped to his knees and cried out, "I must send myself back out to sea." He looked around for the witch. "I must build a death raft for myself, for that is how I wish to die, as food for fish." Redipulyseus took 2 canoes, tied them together into a large raft, and placed upon it a large pile of leafy branches and dried dune grass. Vanessateria watched him, delighting in his misery and grief.
He builds his own funeral pyre, a floating one.
Redipulyseus finished his raft. He took one of his long spears and quickly spiked a fish in the shallows. He picked up his helmet and poked out 2 eye holes. He put it on and walked through the mist up to the house, holding the speared fish.
What is he doing now? I must intercept him.
She transformed into a seagull and flew off. Redipulyseus arrived at his house. The clay zombies were everywhere. He found a flint stone and a torch and lit it, flaming and hot, and waved aside the clay zombies. They recoiled in fear of drying out.
"Oh no! Hot! Hot! Run away! Hot!"
He broke open through the front door of his house to find Hypergometes was a youthful woman. It was midday. The vision of her struck him like a hammer. She was so beautiful. Then she saw what she was doing. She laid on the pillows with another clay sculpture, a tall and handsome one, eating lunch. He could barely hold his rage together. "I bring you a fish." He put down the torch and slid the fish off the spear. He lifted the fish. His other hand held the spear, trembling. "We wish for no food now, clay beast. Now be gone with you." Redipulyseus placed the fish on the table. He pulled off his helmet with his free hand, holding it high. "Do you forget everything?" "I said be gone. Can't you see I'm busy?" He raised the helmet over his head. "Perhaps I must remind you who I am." He threw down the helmet, smashing it upon the stone floor with a loud crash. Hypergometes was shocked as she looked at this new man in her house. The clay suitor gave a loud shriek, leapt up from the pillows, and dashed to the door. Redipulyseus punched the clay suitor, collapsing his soft body, and he fell. He shoved his fishing spear into the clay zombie, but it was already dead. Then Hypergometes recognized him. "It's you!" "So you do remember me?" "Yes, I do. Where have you been?" "Right in front of you all along." "What? Here? No." "It was this helmet, the one you made." "That I made? I don't understand. Who are you?" "I'll make you remember." He leapt forward and snatched Hypergometes up by the hair. She cried out in pain. "Ow! What are you doing?" He dragged her violently out of the house. The clay zombies immediately snapped to attention.
You need help, pretty lady? Ooh, bad man!
"Stay back, clay beasts, or I destroy your beloved goddess." "Please don't hurt me."
We save you from bad man! We save you!
"Oh gods, what have I done?" He pulled her to her feet and held her fast. And then Redipulyseus released his grip, and she fell with a thump to her knees. She was terrified but surprised he had let go. "What are you going to do?" The zombies crept closer, forming a wall of clay figures. "Get back, or I destroy your beloved." "Stay back from him." The zombies obeyed her and paused.
We destroy bad man now! Come, boys, get him!
Redipulyseus clenched his fist and closed his eyes. He held up the spear, ready to bring it down upon her neck. A bubble of energy, an aura of blue light, formed around his head. It exploded out from him with a loud boom. The shock wave threw back the wall of clay suitors. She was blown back, surprised but unhurt. The fog around the house vanished. Redipulyseus looked up and saw the blue sky above them. Sunlight flooded down into the veranda, blinding them all with the intense light. He twirled the spear around and thrust it into the shattered remains of the sundial. Its long rod, aimed skyward, cast a shadow and formed a clock. "Do you remember it at all? Your onus?" "My onus? What is happening?" The fog and the clay beasts stood and began creeping in. On the horizon, through the clearing in the fog, in the distance, they all saw the moon rising. It was a perfect crescent moon. Hypergometes was amazed to see the sky again, amazed at the horizon and this spectacular moon. It had been so long. The fog crept back in around them again. The shadow from the spear disappeared. Redipulyseus emitted another explosion of blue light of the moon and again blew back the fog. "Where have you been?" She ran into the arms of Redipulyseus. "I told you, Hypergometes." He pulled her in by the waist. "I have been here all along." "Redipulyseus, I cannot believe what I have done." She began to weep. "Curse me and this body." "Shush now. We talk about this later." I must tell you what has happened, but now we must act. I am lost. Redipulyseus whispered to her angrily. No, woman! You are to be forgiven. Now listen. We must make a trap. I made a raft upon the beach, a prison. Now come quickly. I'll tell you what we'll do. Vanessateria felt the explosions coming from the house. She saw the fog disappear. She squinted her horrible eyes in the sunlight.
My plans are unraveling. I must intercede, yet still hide who I truly am.
Minions, I have a job for you. I will feed you something great. The clay zombies cheered. Come to the beach. All the zombies fell over them in a great swarm down the path to the waterfront. There on the sand was the large raft with wood and branches. The rest of you, climb upon this raft. Now hug one another and become a shed. They collapsed over themselves to form a large box. The sea bird shows up. It was Vanessateria. She transformed into her natural form as a witch.
So the jig is up. My plans are ruined. You are together again.
You were a witch all along. Why? Redipulyseus advanced to Vanessateria and pointed the spear and torch at her. The evil witch looked past Redipulyseus at Hypergometes.
You, woman, you will serve these fools forever. Is that your wish? Do you wish to remain a slave to Father Time forever?
He exploded away the fog a third time, and this time the fog disappeared completely. Sunlight flooded the beach. You 5 here, form a sun clock.
No, you mustn't.
5 smaller clay beasts collapsed themselves into a sundial. Now, go into the boathouse.
What time is it? We are late, late.
The sundial monstrously sprouted legs and lumbered into the box.
Time to go. A sundial. She will summon Father Time.
Vanessateria, with surprising speed, dodged Redipulyseus and ran into the box and violently ripped the sundial to pieces. Now, you there, close!
Yes, pretty lady, we love you.
A phalanx of clay zombies swarmed upon the box, forming a door of clay and trapping the sea witch. Box her in! Vanessateria shouted from the inside.
You fools, you think you've beaten me?
Redipulyseus lifted his torch and ignited the dried grasses and wood.
I am she who struck you time blind. It was me. I knew if you both could not truly see each other, it would ruin you both. I am a creature of the sea, immune to fire, and cannot burn.
Quickly the clay box was engulfed within flames. You there! Now push it out to sea!
What are you doing?
Another swarm of clay beasts pressed against the raft and slid it out into the water. Redipulyseus and Hypergometes joined in and pushed the raft out to sea. Moments later, the entire raft was an inferno. Vanessateria, trapped within the encased earthenware box, was locked inside. The fire had solidified the clay of the zombies, and she could not escape. She shrieked and shouted, rattling the prison of burning clay men as they crackled in the heat. The raft smoked and burned as it floated far out to sea. Vanessateria shrieked uncontrollably. Suddenly, a strange song boomed across the ocean. In the distance, Redipulyseus and Hypergometes could see what it was. This was Thomasius, the great whale, and he launched from below into a spectacular breach, landing upon the blazing raft with his incredible weight, obliterating it. The fire burst outward in a loud concussion. The clay men exploded into a cloud of brown, pulverized dust. The raft burst into splinters, spraying across the waves. A moment later, nothing could be seen of the sea witch, except for shreds of kelp floating scattered across the waves. Thomasius resurfaced with his mouth open as if sweeping for krill, and scooped the shreds of kelp, sweeping clean the ocean's surface, and then dove back below. Back upon the beach, Redipulyseus and Hypergometes watched in awe at the cloud of smoke and dust move away across the ocean. The sun returned, and for the first time in a few years, the two enjoyed the sunset. By the gods, it's good to see the sun go down again. Yes, my hero. Hypergometes aged right in front of Redipulyseus. Oh, my knee. I wonder if the witch will ever return. If she does, I can never again neglect the onus given to each of us by Father Time. Soon the moon moved across the twilight sky, and the stars came out. Redipulyseus picked up Hypergometes. I'm so sorry. We'll be okay. He carried her frail and weak body back to their home. As he entered the veranda, he stepped carefully over the crumbling remains of the clay zombies. He saw the damaged sundial and the broken potted flowers and the remnants of the amphora water clock. And he looked up at the moon. He walked into the damaged house. Redipulyseus set her down into bed. Thank you, Redipulyseus. Good night, Hypergometes. See you in the morning. Now you sleep too, my love. Yes, because tomorrow we need to clean this place up. And with that, Hypergometes went soundly to sleep. The end. Thus concludes the tale of Hypergometes and Redipulyseus. Thank you for listening. Remember, your likes and subscriptions matter, and so does your voice. So please share your comments below or engage with me on Twitter. Until next time, this is El Zorro Plateador.